good morning and welcome to Library Scented Life. If you're new here, my name is Sydney. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, and let's get right into it. So there are a lot of books coming out in October. The fall releases are always the best. I love them so much, and usually they're spooky or cozy, something to really curl up when it's raining outside and the leaves are turning colors, and I'm really excited for fall in general. So I thought I would talk about the releases I am most excited for in October, because October is actually really soon when this video is going to be up. The first book I'm going to talk about is Saga Girls by Claire Legrand. So the release date for this one is October 2nd, 2018. So all I know about Saga Girls is it's about a monster that's been taking girls off of an island for decades, and they've just been disappearing, and an unlikely group of friends decides to fight back. And it sounds very girl powery, and all the characters are very different in terms of their personality descriptions. So I think that would be really interesting to see a group of unlikely friends working together to get rid of something terrifying. So I am really excited for that one. So the next release I'm going to talk about is Saga Volume 9. If you haven't seen my Saga video, I think it's called Why You Need to Read Saga, because you do. I have already mentioned this release in that video, and that was actually the reason that video existed, because I am brimming with anticipation for this release. So this is Volume 9, and it is of course by Brian K. Vaughan and illustrated by the wonderful Fiona Staples. So the next release is another one coming out on October 2nd. There are a lot of them coming out October 2nd. I think the only ones that I listed were the 2nd and the 9th. So on those days, I know my bank account will be draining because I can't contain myself in bookstores. So this one is Broken Things by Lauren Oliver. So by the synopsis, this sounds like it's about three girls who are very good friends, and they were obsessed with a novel. One of the girls ends up being killed, and everyone thinks that the other two friends did it because they were imagining themselves in the novel, and they were too far in their fantasy and it went wrong. But the synopsis says that the two friends actually did not do it. So this story follows them years later when they're trying to remember exactly what happened and trying to face it. So the next release is, whoa, another October 2nd. So this is The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy. Oh my goodness, this sounds so good. So this is by Mackenzie Lee, and it is the sequel to A Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, which is so funny. I listened to the audiobook a while ago, and I really enjoyed it. It actually made me laugh out loud. The characters' dialogue is written really interestingly, and I love the LGBTQ+ representation. So A Lady's Guide is going to be following Felicity, who is the sister to Monty, who the first book followed. So Felicity was a really great character. This takes place in, I believe, the 1800s, but Felicity was a super cool and really smart character who wants to be a doctor and is facing people telling her she can't because she's a woman in that time period. The part of the title about piracy, so she's going to be a pirate in this one, which is really great. I love pirate stories. There seem to be a lot releasing lately, and I love the trend, so I'm going to hop on that bandwagon. And the next October 2nd release I'm going to talk about is Dry by Jared and Neil Schusterman. So I haven't heard anyone talk about this book yet, but it sounds really interesting and really powerful and very self-reflective. So Dry takes place in this town that has been in a drought for a while, so they can't water their lawns or take long showers or all the regular drought stuff that you can't do to conserve water. And then eventually the taps run dry, you turn them on and nothing happens, and all the water is gone. So it's kind of like one of those stories, people fighting for survival of themselves and their families, and this follows a girl named Alyssa whose parents actually go out to find water and they don't come back. It's her and her brother, and they have to fend for themselves and survive in this terrible situation. And this is almost a look at what could happen in some of the towns where there is a drought or even a lack of water. In Flint, Michigan, they still don't have clean water, and I feel like that's very important to say. So October 2nd has passed, and we are going to talk about the things coming out on October 9th. So the first one is Dear Evan Hansen by Val Emick. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'm sorry if I am. But Dear Evan Hansen, the book is going to be a novelization of the musical Dear Evan Hansen, which I listen to the soundtrack all the time. I have never seen live, but you know when you listen to a musical soundtrack so much, it feels like you know the story. That's kind of where I am with this. Same with Hamilton. So Dear Evan Hansen actually follows a boy named Evan who is a misfit teen and feels like no one sees him, and he gets sucked into a lie involving the death by suicide of a classmate, and this leads to him finally belonging somewhere, but he has to keep up this lie. So this is a very powerful story that gets you questioning your morals, and you feel bad for him, but also he shouldn't be lying about something like this. So I am very excited to read the novelization of it and see how it adapts from the music. And it actually will be interesting to be reading and figure out, oh, this is where that song comes in, and I really love the idea of doing that. Next, on October 9th, we have The Witch Elm by Tana French. So this story takes place after a man walks in and surprises burglars, and the burglars almost kill him with his injuries, and this man is recovering from that trauma and from his physical injuries. So while he is starting to recover, he goes to his ancestral family home, and while he's staying there, he finds a skull in the garden, and he starts to uncover a bunch of dark secrets about his past and I think his family's past, and nothing is as it seems, and everything he knew was a lie. It's one of those stories which I always love. They're fun to watch in movies, and they're sometimes fun to read if they're not too predictable. So I am excited to see how this one plays out. And the last book I'm going to talk about is being released again on October 9th, and this is Bridge of Clay by Marcus Zusak. Of course, we all know Marcus Zusak is the author of The Book Thief, so I didn't read much of the synopsis because I don't want to be spoiled. I'd really like to just go in and enjoy it, but as far as I know, this is about 5 brothers who raised each other, raised themselves, and now they're grown up and they're finding out things about their father's disappearance. That's as far as I read on the synopsis, but even still that sounds wonderful, and I feel like Marcus Zusak could write anything and I would love and enjoy reading it, so I am excited for that. I think I've said excited about 23 times in this thing. So I'm sorry if the word excited annoys you. Next time I will bring a thesaurus. So those are my most anticipated October releases. Let me know what yours are, what will you be picking up next month, and what are you most excited to find in the store. Like and subscribe if you liked it and if you want to. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm so excited to see you in my next video. Bye! Wait, I said excited again. And I'm so enthused to see you in my next video.